Hello and thanks for joining us for Fathom Live, a show dedicated to giving you tips and insights from experts in and around the real estate industry. I'm your host, Jeff Sturtz. Let's get things started. This is part 2 with Julie Pierson-Fields, and I'm so glad to have her back on the show today. Julie, how are you?
I am staying out of trouble, so far so good.
All right, good. What do you have there on your desk, Julie?
Oh, this right here?
Yeah, we practiced this.
Oh, that's just, handy 60 handy social media prompts that you can use today to go drive traffic.
I've got the same thing. 60, and we probably should put handy in the title there. But you can download it right now if you're on the Fathom Live page. Otherwise, I think there's links for it on Facebook, YouTube, everywhere on the internet. It's everywhere on the internet. So 60 social media prompts you can use today. And with this show today, you're going to be able to walk away and immediately start getting to work with what you have taken away from the show with this PDF and with the information. As I said, this is a part 2. If you haven't watched part 1, go back and watch it. We'll talk about that in a second. But you guys know the drill who watch this regularly. Get to commenting, give us some shout outs on Facebook and YouTube. That will automatically enter you into drawing to win some swag, or not swag, it's more than swag. It's $200 worth of stuff, whether it's signs or Go Social Agent lead services, or I forget what. You know what it is. So speaking of Go Social Agent, and we are talking about social media stuff today, if you haven't checked them out, go to GoSocialAgent.com. They offer effective and affordable social media solutions to help you grow your business, including getting your account set up, automated postings, agent-branded articles, buyer and seller handbooks, Facebook ad campaigns, and more. Again, that's GoSocialAgent.com. If you haven't watched the last show, just go to fathomcareers.com/live, and you can see all of the previous shows there. You're going to want to watch the last show if you haven't yet, but today you're still going to get a lot of great takeaways if you're just jumping into part 2. So let's get that out of the way. Hit our YouTube notification bell if you want to be reminded when we go live. Otherwise, follow us on Facebook and you'll be seeing that as well. A reminder for our Fathom agents: Tuesday, October 27th at 4 p.m. Central Time. You're gonna have to verify that. I have 4 p.m. right here. 4 p.m. we have a Halloween party, and you can submit a picture of your pet wearing I'm not kidding, you can submit a picture of your pet wearing a Halloween costume for a chance to win that contest. And if you're not a Fathom agent, become one, dagnabbit, or find a Fathom agent, and then you can join us for our Halloween party, virtual Halloween party that we're doing over Zoom. So, all right, Julie, thank you for waiting in the wings there. Already people commenting. Thank you, Ashley and Lee and Lady and Yvette and Kent and Renee. There's names there that are like not real names. They're kind of like pseudonyms. So 4 Eastern time. There we have the final word. So, all right, well, let's just do a real quick recap of the last Fathom Live. Just to kind of bring us up to speed, even if you have seen it, to remember what we talked about. You're going to want to check it out. If the last show was kind of a skeleton to what we're talking about, this show is going to be putting like meat on those bones. So that kind of might help you understand what we're doing here. So just a quick recap. What were the things that we talked about on the last show, Julie?
Well, we talked about just the difference in platforms, obviously Facebook versus Instagram, and how each can be useful in your overall marketing strategy, using hashtags correctly, scheduling your posts, and creating your content further out than just, I need to post something right now, and also how to stay involved with your audience along the way. So,
all right. And one of the things that we touched on briefly in the last show was the kind of content that you want to post, and specifically coming up with content that is in what we call engaging content. That is things that I, as a Facebook user, would want to see if I'm scrolling down my feed and you've posted something. I go, hey, that's interesting. I want to comment, like, share, interact with that somehow. But we didn't really actually get deep into that part of it, the actual kind of content. That's what we're doing today. And full disclosure, I am very timid about posting things that solicit any sort of response from people on social media. I always feel like you don't really want to interact with me, so I'm not going to say anything. So I would be the kind of agent that would say, all right, here's a home that we've just listed. If you want to see it, come by, and just leave it at that. But that's not very engaging, is it? So help me out, and the others out there that are like me. And so what I want to discuss today with you is what kind of content is engaging, and with examples. And if you need examples, go download our 60 handy helping social media prompts that you can use today on our Fathom Careers page. So what kind of content is engaging? What do I hope to get from being engaging? What's the point? Just become popular and have friends? And then how do I know if it's actually engaging? Like, are there numbers or things that can tell me if this is working? So that's kind of what I want to walk through today with you. Thank you again so much for your time and helping us out here. So let's just jump into the content then. Could you give us some examples of what you would consider engaging?
Absolutely. So for just as a quick point of reference as to why we want to have engaging content, because you are not selling a $27 widget. You are buying or selling somebody's home. That is a longer process, and it's not everybody always needs to buy a home or sell their home. So part of the reason we like to do engagement posts is it helps the algorithm on both Facebook and Instagram see that people are finding your content useful, relevant, and engaging. And because of that, they are more likely to show your content to those people and others like them. So that's why we want to post engaging content. So a lot of times people can get a little confused on what engaging content really should be. Most engaging content shouldn't really be your sales pitches. Your engagement content is content that you use to build your know, like, trust factor. People aren't going to want to use you if they don't know you, if they don't like you, and if they don't trust you. So because of that, there's really kind of 3 different types of engaging content. What would be considered a static post, and that can be on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or Twitter, any platforms. Today, we're really focusing on Facebook and Instagram because that's where majority of realtors hang out and majority of your clients are hanging out. And again, as we said last time, you've got to be where your audience is. If your audience isn't there, why are you there? So anyway, so you have your static posts, which solicit a response. You have your stories, which are on both Facebook and Instagram. And then you also have lives. And different people have different levels of comfort with doing each of those different ones. So we'll just do a quick example from each of those.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah. So for a static engagement, and all of these can be used in a variety of formats. So you could do something as a static post, also as a story, also as a live. And again, as realtors, your primary focus, your primary area is a local or regional, depending on your market, but a local or regional area. What that translates to, your content really needs to be location specific. Now, you also, an easy way to help increase your audience is to, play upon other people's audiences. Leverage, more or less, hijack their brand authority.
How do I do that?
So if you have, say, a vendor, Billy Bob's Tree Service, and you use Billy Bob's Tree Service to do something, thank him or her, whatever, in a post and tag them. Not when you do the initial post, because that will lower your reach. Tag them in the first comment and tag them.
Whoa. Stop. So I'm not going to say, thank you, Billy Bob Tree Service, in my post. I'm going to say, thank you, Billy Bob Tree Service. Well, I'm going to say that, but I'm not going to tag them. I'm going to post it, and then my first comment then I'm going to tag them. You did great work.
Yes, and I should clarify. On Facebook.
On Facebook.
On Instagram. On Instagram, you can tag in the initial post. I apologize.
Why does Facebook do that? Why do they make you tag the comment?
because, well, you can tag them. You can tag their business page in the initial post, but Facebook views that as
Spammy.
a strict B2B type
Oh,
post.
okay. All right. I gotcha.
And so it's kind of a little handy workaround. But again, so you create a post, or thank you, Susie's Cleaners, for helping get our property ready to show.
Right.
Thank you to your closing office. Again, a lot of these vendors have their own audiences, and their audiences probably are going to be looking to buy or sell a home at some point, and
Right.
leveraging that audience. And then if somebody likes your post, invite them to like your page.
Yes.
So,
Easy audience
yeah.
builder right there. You'll get 20 likes and you'll
Yes.
find out that half of them have not liked your page. So invite,
And
invite, invite, invite.
it's a quick click, and most people are like, oh, hey, yeah, I liked their post,
Sure.
and I like Susie's Cleaning. I like their page. So, so that's an example of just a static post. And remember, you really want to tag vendors that are local. So just that way you're leveraging a more local audience,
Mm-hmm.
and also help support other local businesses.
Cool.
So, a good idea of a story would be to, again, social media is a great way to make sure that you are a person, and as realtors you have that amazing opportunity that your personality and you are your brand. And especially if you're a Fathom agent, Fathom gives so much freedom to agents to self brand. You are your brand, and so make your
Right.
brand you, and let people know you. And so stories are a great way to do that. One example that I personally love, I know I scroll Instagram stories every morning, and a great way, one handy one is just do a post, do a story. Good morning. I'm listening to, and tag whoever, preferably a local podcaster, local TV show, or a local radio program. Again, keeping it local.
Right.
And because then they are more likely to share it to their story, which again increases your reach, and it's critical. So, a good example of a live would be 3 simple things to prepare your home for selling this month. And it could just be because it also keep it local. Okay, for example, I moved to North Carolina. I didn't realize that where we live here, we get a lot of pine sap. Didn't realize that, pressure washing was such a big thing, but had I seen, a live, again, just little things like that, tell people this. Now, and the reason that we say 3 things, when you get on a live, it's very easy to either ramble,
Mm-hmm.
forget what you were going to talk about, or you get done talking and then you go, well, I don't know what to do next.
Right.
So scribble out a little basic, it can be a post-it note. Say, to do your welcome, point 1, point 2, point 3, and then your soft call to action, whether it's that you want them, if you like these tips, follow me on, make sure you follow, cross promote your pages, or if you have an email list. But a soft call to action, you can also do a hard call to action, but I recommend really stepping very gently on those. So.
All right, so that's kind of one from each category. And I noticed as I was looking at your engagement post prompts, you have some stuff that really kind of solicits, people commenting.
Yes.
And I like that you didn't just say like, hey, do you like the color blue or red? I mean, things that are irrelevant to. That's just obnoxious. That just means I really am lonely and I need friends. Somebody please, or like, how did you first meet me? Sorry. If you've made that post out there, that's okay. It's okay if you're lonely. I wasn't. Whoop, can we rewind? We can cut this out, right? It's not live. We are live. Okay. But you have, like this or that kind of questions. Do you prefer a front porch or a back patio? Well, that gives you some feedback. It creates this interesting discussion about this, and then you might be like, hey,
And
I have a house with a back patio for you.
just with your name on it. And one thing that's also nice, what you really want to make sure that any content that you post from your business page is relevant to your lane. If you are an agent that focuses primarily on condos, keep your content relevant to that. If you're, again, your audience knows when you know what you're talking about.
So suppose I post one of these things and it's just a hot post. I mean, the people are commenting. There's, drama and controversy and all kinds of great stuff happening. All good news, all publicity is good publicity. And so there's just a lot of chatter. How do is that just plain good? Like, great, now my name's out there, or should I do more with that to try to like steer people towards business? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, so it's part of you want to have an overall strategy. Ideally, you are going to balance your engagement post, your informational post, the posts that build your brand authority, and selectively do your calls to action, show your properties, things like that. But at the end of the day, you really you're playing your long game. You're building your brand awareness. And again, today we're touching just on organic.
Right.
And for those who aren't tracking, organic is the free. It's all it costs you is your time and energy, and not paying to boost or not paying to run lead ads. And that's a totally different conversation.
Right.
And
we have agents that do both very successsually, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
So just throwing that out there.
And
sorry, the sun just went away here, and I'm very, very dark right now. Go ahead.
And no. So one is not preferable to the other, and I really believe both need to work hand in hand. But again, at the end of the day, you want to have these engagement posts to ensure that these help ensure your calls to action, that your other posts perform at their best. So,
gotcha. So maybe we can move on to then, how do I know? So I want to be engaging because it helps them know, trust, and remember? Or is that?
Know, like, trust.
Know, like, trust. Okay, so they know me, they like me, they trust me. That's why I'm doing it, so that I'm top of mind. And not only that, but there's good feels when somebody's like, I like that person. I want to list my house with them, or I need a house. Yeah. So I'm going to call that person. So how do I know then if it's engaging? I mean, apart from somebody actually saying like, I want you to list my house, how do I know if I'm like actually sort of doing the right kind of farming?
No, absolutely. So from a sheer numbers perspective, if you are running again, today we're talking mostly on Facebook and Instagram. Like we discussed last time, you need to be utilizing a business Facebook page and a business Instagram account, and you need to tie them together. Once you have those set up, you can then go in and see in your insights, and you can see, okay, what is the best time to post? Who's engaging? You can also see which posts are generating the most engagement. You can also see demographics of your audience, and that can be gender, age, location, and that's very critical. Because I know that as a lot of business owners are like, oh, I have a page. I want to invite all my friends and family to like it.
Uh-huh.
Well, if most of their friends if half of their friends and family are around the country, is that really going to get them the target audience that they want?
Right.
So not saying not to do that.
Yeah, that just gives you the ability to have like a custom URL, right? I mean a custom, like you got to get 100 people, and then so you get there. Now let's do the real work.
Yeah. So from a metrics perspective, you definitely want to be consistently, and I say constantly, as a social media manager, I'm constantly looking at the numbers. But for the metrics matter. But from just a business owner perspective, I would recommend set a day of the week, and it doesn't have to be a huge amount of time. Set a reminder on your calendar to take just 10 or 15 minutes, look at your metrics. Compare them to the previous week, the previous month. I typically recommend people create a spreadsheet just to see how are things comparing, because sometimes you can get, again, we use third-party apps that get a lot more metrics, but you can see what content is working, because you might see that your audience loves when you if you're a person who is a big coffee drinker and you are in a town that has a lot of coffee shops and you see, man, my audience really seems to like when I tag my morning cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Versus, so you can see what content
Gotcha.
resonates with your audience.
All right. So I'm looking at my business page insights is
Yes.
the place I need to go
Mm-hmm.
to see all this stuff.
Yes. And then as far as being able to, again, from an organic perspective, being able to track how many leads you are that it is bringing you. Obviously, as part of your onboarding process for any time you bring on a new listing or a new buyer, make sure to ask them, hey, where did you hear about me first? And also, how did we nurture that relationship? Because a lot of what social media does is nurturing the relationship, because not everybody always needs to buy or sell a home, but they want to know that they can get in touch with somebody immediately when they want to.
Right. So that's just you're saying there's going to be times where your insights, Facebook doesn't know if the person picks up the phone necessarily and calls you. And so you want to be tracking that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how many leads did I actually get this last, 6 months or 9 months
from
Facebook, and so be recording all of that information as people contract with you to buy or sell. All right. Well, one of the things that you mentioned when we were preparing for the show was there's sort of a danger in success, that, you hit, I got a lead. This is great. It's working. I did what Julie said in part 1 and part 2, and now I got a lead. And then where's the danger after that?
So I think a lot of times if people, all of a sudden you're like, man, I'm getting these leads in, I'm busy. I'm so busy that social media takes a back burner. And anytime you pause your lead generation, it's not going to pause. You're not going to really feel that pain right now. You're going to feel it in 3 months, in 6 months. And so again, it is a time investment, but like we talked about last time, if you plan ahead, again, a lot of these things can be made ahead of time. Anytime that you anytime you have a closing, go ahead and have your content written. Go ahead and you need to be doing these engagement style posts, because those also help build your brand authority.
Right.
But that's a different conversation. But yeah, so never take your foot off the gas as far as lead generation. So
gotcha. All right. So the moment you get a lead, it's time to really ramp up, keep going, and making sure that you're looking ahead. And I mean, there's kind of 2 lessons in that. Yeah, don't just be content with what you just got, but also if you're starting this journey today, filling out your social media schedule and developing these habits, don't expect you to get stuff next week. I mean, it might happen, but think 2-3 months.
Typically with organic, it's going to be a little bit of a longer nurturing process.
Right.
And I do want to just encourage one last, you don't have to do all of these types of content. That's a lot of content creation, curation, and management. But I do, and also if you're not comfortable doing a live, don't feel like you have to. I know a lot of people do not love being in front of the camera, and if you're not comfortable doing that, that's totally fine. There's a lot of other ways to build that know, like, trust factor that don't make you feel uncomfortable.
Great. One of the things I may have skipped over here, or you may have said it, and I was thinking about the next question, was vanity likes versus meaningful likes. Did you already hit on that?
Not too. Well, we touched on a little bit, but just kind of
was that a nice way of just saying, "Yep, they can rewind it, and we don't have to talk about this"?
Well, just a real quick touch on that.
Okay, all right.
There is a difference between vanity metrics and real actionable metrics. Everybody wants to have a high like count or high follower count. And a lot of people really get focused on that, as opposed to, I'd rather have a smaller following that has a higher engagement. I'd rather have 100 legitimate fans or followers and have half of them engaging versus having 1,000 and only having 50 engaging.
Gotcha. So,
Just because,
you post something that says, I love my mother. Well, all right, I'll like that. That's good for people to love their mothers. But it's not a very engaging post. So there's not a lot of conversation or action being taken because of that post.
No. And, and a lot of times, and I know we see this a lot. There's a lot of people who reach out saying, oh, we can get you 1,000 fans. We'll get you 5,000. Those, please avoid those. Those will mess up your business pages for longer than you care to think about. The fake followers, not good. So anyway.
Gotcha. So you're talking about companies that I just like, they have sort of like a farm, like a fake audience that they just like, all right, send the likes out, and all these fake accounts like your page, and yeah.
And you can always tell and Instagram's really bad about this. You'll see Instagram influencers who have so many followers, but then their posts only get like 1 or 2 likes.
Influencers.
So.
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's really, really interesting. Yeah. So if I'm kind of marrying these 2 episodes here, then the one is get your schedule in order, get your understanding of the platforms and what you're going to post on each of those, get your hashtags cataloged and what you want to say, and then start filling in this kind of stuff and just fill it out. Here's a ready-made, peel off the top package, and you can insert these into your schedule and la-di-da.
Absolutely. And these are ones that, if okay, next week I'm closing on, hopefully everything I's dot T's cross, 2 properties, go ahead and you can go ahead and more or less write it out, get it into your schedule. And again, batch your work, save time, and just get out there. And I promise you, people will be a lot kinder than you think they'll be.
Awesome.
So,
well, I think that wraps it up. So I appreciate it. Is there any other last tips before we head out? I mean, I think, man, if you can do what we talked about in these 2 episodes, it's gonna generate something for you.
Main thing is, on any post that you do, any lives you do, any stories, anything that you post, I'm not going to say you need to be crazy professional, but you do need to always remember that exercise professionalism in all aspects. So.
Yes, we talked about that as sort of a bonus last week or 2 weeks ago. Yes, we are also, just keep in mind we're in election season, and before our next show, there's going to be an election, and God willing, we will have the results on the 4th, which will be the day after we'll be having our show. So think about it before you post. Don't say anything you wouldn't say, to your mom or your grandma, is what you said last week, right? Treat people the way you want them to treat you. It's an ethic that we carry here at Fathom. It's one of our core values, and it will steer you well when it comes to social media. So. Absolutely. All right, Julie, thank you so much. And so now that you got your download printed off, it's print friendly, and start getting to work. And we'll be seeing you on November 4th. Thanks for joining us today.